Hey y'all, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. Today is going to be a chatty get ready with me type video where I'm going to be diving in a pretty new palette, but I feel like it's been out for a little while, so hence why it's going to be a very laid back kind of chit chatty video. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of update on me. At the time of this video goes up, I should hit 11 weeks pregnant and things have been going surprisingly well, so I figured I could sit down and share with you guys some of the tips that I think is really helping me not be like totally debilitated by morning sickness. That way, if it can help anyone out there, or just for my future reference when Kitty looks back and wants to remember all the tips that she did when she was going through morning sickness so she can function, this video will be out there. But yeah, the palette that I'm going to be playing with today is Girl Festie Bestie. Now, I saw this on the Ulta website. I haven't really seen it at all on social media, and I was like, wait a minute, where'd this come from? But look at this. Look how pretty. I feel like it's definitely much more of a neutral palette, but especially when I saw it on the website, because it looked a little bit more saturated, but on the website, on Ulta's website, I was like, that looks like the neutral sister to the main stage palette, because it has those greens and blues in it, and you know, purples and all that. That really drew me to the main stage palette that I absolutely loved. I named it as one of my top favorites from 2021, so I went ahead and picked it up, especially because it was on sale. So I think it was like $10 or $11. I had to get it. So I have it here today. I've already done a more neutral look with the more mauve and reddish tones, and I really enjoyed it. So I want to dive into the color and just play with this palette and see how colorful we can get while I chat with you guys about my pregnancy. So my eyes are already primed, but let me roll the intro and we can jump right into it. Alright, scooted just a little bit more in. Oh, I got lipstick. Great, I had lip gloss on my face during the intro of that video. Great. Anyway, this is the palette. I definitely want to play around with the blues, with this green up here. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. This looks absolutely blinding. Let me go ahead and touch it. Oh, it had a little bit of the mauve matte in there. This looks flaky, but also pretty. I haven't swatched this palette out, which I suppose I should. Yeah, it definitely looks more like a flaky type of shadow. So, ow. Just pinch myself. If you can see, it looks really pretty and blinding, but definitely a shadow that's going to take some smoothing. So I don't know if I'd put that all over my lid. Maybe it'd be pretty as a highlight. This shade looks super pretty as well. So I don't know. I think I might focus on the blue for the lid. Maybe a little bit of this, or this shade also looks really pretty. It all looks really pretty. But for the crease, I think I'm going to focus on this shade on my inner corner. And then when we're talking about mattes, we got a blue, a black, the mauve, kind of like a reddish, brickish shade, and then this orange, which the orange looks super pretty. And I'm thinking that the orange and the green would look really fun together. I could do the green going into the orange, and then maybe the blue or the black on the outer corner. That's what I'm thinking. So I think I'm gonna get started doing the orange on the outer corner, and I'll probably blend the green towards the inner corner. I think that's what I wanna do. All right, so I'm using the Beaute eyeshadow primer that I got in a BoxyCharm. I just had to tap this eye out because it was already starting to crease. Let me go ahead and grab, what type of brush do I want? I think I wanna use this. Yeah, we're gonna use this, and I wanna see how bright I can make that orange, which if you were curious is called Detour. So yeah, at the time of me uploading this, I should be 11 weeks right now. I'm still at 10 weeks, but things have been going surprisingly. Okay, did this brush have something dirty on it? Because that is a really brown color. I think this might be my mistake. Hang on, let me erase this, put a little bit more primer, and let me check with a clean brush just to make sure I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt, because it looks orange in the pan, but that looks brown. Okay, so I erased that. I'm going to do it on this side just since this side has had a little bit more time to set in. I'm going to grab a white brush, I think. I'll grab this one. It's a little bit bigger than what, oh wait, no, this one will do. This is the shape that I had before. This is the NYX 44 brush. It's stained blue, but it is not blue. Let me check on my white. It is clean. There's nothing coming off. So now let's pick up that orange again and try, because that was slightly shocking when I went in there. So let me put this in right here. Okay, yeah, see, that's orange. That brush must have been dirty with a brown, and I stuck it in my clean brushes accidentally, because I always try to separate my brushes that need to be at least cleaned off or wiped off before being put back with the clean ones. Okay, disaster averted. Where was I? Yeah, things have been going surprisingly well. Honestly, the first couple of days that it was going well to the point where I'm still feeling nauseous, but I'm not throwing up and I'm able to function if I kind of take the day slow, if I don't do too much throughout the day, but I can still take care of my kids, I can keep the house somewhat in order, and I can get through my day without feeling like I just want to crawl into bed and go to sleep and forget about how life feels right now. So that's what I mean by functioning. I still feel the nausea and I still kind of feel the blah and the bad taste in your mouth with mornings or with a pregnancy for me. That's really bad at the beginning with morning sickness, but I've been functioning fairly well. And like I said, the first couple days after it started going well, I almost didn't want to say anything because I was like, I don't want to jinx this. Like, I feel surprisingly really well, and even my husband was like, you seem like you're doing really good. And this is after like 2 weeks of just like, I would barely get through the day, and by the end of the day when my husband came home, I was just like done and just wanted to go to bed and forget everything. So yeah, the fact that I could kind of still function, I was starting to put makeup on every day again. My husband was like, you seem like you're doing a lot better. And I'm like, I know, I'm kind of afraid to say anything and like jinx it. Okay, so that's what we have so far. I like it. It's still neutral-ish of an orange, but I can definitely tap on and get a bit of a brighter orange, and I like it. I feel like it stays true to the pan and it looks very pretty. So I'm just gonna tap a little bit. I think I'm gonna leave mostly at orange, kind of fading out. I've actually kind of thought a little bit more about it, and I think I'm going to actually stick some of this purple into the outer corner because purple and orange go well together, and then bleed the purple probably to this shade in the deepest outer corner, and then I'll do blue on my lid, so it'll kind of be fading around. But anyway, I want to put on a little bit of that green in there, which is called Love and Life. I'm going to take this little brush, Rephr 13, pick up that green, and this I really want to pack in my inner corner. I always like having a pop of green. Oh, this is such a fun green. Maybe doesn't go that well with such a kind of neutral leaning orange, but oh, such a fun pop. This would go really well if I just did like a green and blue look because it's so like neutral. It's not so warm, but still really pretty. So I'm just tapping this on, gonna blend it up. And I'll probably blend it here and kind of stop about right here, I think. Because these two, with it being so warm and so cool, I don't really envision it meshing and melding that well together, but I'm gonna harmonize it as much as I can. So anyway, yeah, before this, weeks 8 and 9 were really hard. Like they were, you know, just couldn't keep food down, couldn't, you know, get through the day, and just feeling not only just like not being able to keep food down, but just feeling like no matter what I was trying to eat, just the constant nausea. It was pretty rough. So that was kind of like the worst of the worst, I would say, would be the beginning half of my 9th week. Going into the middle of my 9th week, I had my first doctor's appointment, and I was talking to her and asking her about how much B6 I could take, because that was one thing I couldn't remember from my last pregnancy, and I didn't want to overdo it. So I was taking some morning and night, but she was like, oh, you can take so many milligrams every 8 hours, and I was like, oh, I can take it every 8 hours, so I can put it kind of in the middle of my day. And that was one thing I was like, I've got to try that, because she was saying B6 is really going to help. If you ever heard of the B6 and Unisum, combination, it's kind of like the two combined are like a popular nausea medication. But she was saying with the nausea, she said, Unisum's really good. It's really good to help you sleep, and sleeping is very good when you're pregnant and whatnot. It definitely helps with the nausea, but the B6 also is really good. So even if I'm not taking Unisum with the B6, just the B6 by itself also is really helpful. And that's something I hadn't realized, because I thought you kind of had to take both together to make the magic of the nausea medication work. But she was like, no, B6 can also be helpful on its own without having to do the Unisum, which was helpful for me, because the Unisum and B6 is nice, but it makes you super tired, and trying to get through your day with 3 kids and wanting to sleep all the time is a little tricky. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in, let me go ahead and pause. I'm gonna grab a little packer type of brush, something like this, the Sigma E25 brush, and I'm gonna take a touch of this purplish color. It's like a mauve purple, not super true purple, but I'm gonna take this and put this right down here, blending downward, and I wanna see what it does. I want to see if I can deepen this up. I might just go ahead and cover it with the black if it doesn't really work out the way I'm thinking. because I'm definitely going to want the black kind of on the outer corner to deepen this up, but I would like it if it kind of the black with the purple or whatever shade this is, purple mauve, meshed together so it gave me like a purpley black. That way the purple can mesh into the orange and be a kind of neat pop and fade of color combination. Anyway, so that was something that I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing that. And then the next day, which was like, it was a little over 9.5 weeks, I actually had to go somewhere with my kids for their schooling. And it was like not early in the morning, but it was first thing in the morning. I had to be there at 9 and it was all morning, and I was just really dreading it because I was just like, oh my goodness, the whole past week I've had to stay really close to the bathroom because I can't keep food down, and now I have to go out and be in a public space, have to try to find access to a public bathroom if I need to throw up, and I was just not looking forward to it. But we went, and that morning, because we were in such a rush and I really wasn't feeling good, I was eating things and intaking things into my body super slow. So I had like a little protein, I had my protein drink in the morning while I got up, and then while I was getting ready, I had like a little bowl of Cheerios, like a tiny little bowl of Cheerios with some milk, and that's all I could kind of get myself to eat before we had to leave. And then throughout the day, I would just snack on a little bar, little Belvita type of bar, and I would just take a little bit whenever I was kind of getting to the almost growling point. I would eat a little bit and just sip on water. I sipped on water a ton, like icy water. And that day when I came home from all that, I realized that like, sure, I didn't feel great, but I never felt like I got to the point where I was gonna throw up. I never felt like my nausea got so bad like I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't focus. So I was like, maybe my mistake has been that I've been like eating too much in a time, or just trying to eat like my usual self and not really thinking of like cutting back and doing like tiny meals just very frequently. I was more so going like, okay, it's breakfast time, I need to eat breakfast, I need to put enough in my body so that I can feel normal, not throw up, and get through my day. That's what I was thinking beforehand, and that's, you know, I kept losing it by lunchtime. And so this day when I was out and about, I never threw up, and I was like, you know what, maybe the trick for me is like smaller, tiny, like literally tiny meals. Sometimes it would just be like a handful of popcorn, or like one piece of the, like a Belvita bar comes 4 in it. I would just take one piece out and just nibble on it really slowly over the course of half an hour, and then that's what I would eat. And then maybe an hour later when I was getting hungry again and starting like I could almost growl, I would eat another bar. And so I was like, maybe that's the trick for me to keep from throwing up, because maybe I was trying to eat like too much at one time and making my stomach too full, and that's why I wasn't able to keep things down. So that was my kind of thinking at the time. And so the next couple days after that, as I hit the 10-week mark, that's what I tried. And that's when my husband like made a comment of like, you seem like you're doing really good, when he came home from work that next day. And I was like, I think I am. And I was doing the B6 every 6 hours, or not 6 hours, every 8 hours, so that I would have like a pick-me-up of some more B6 kind of halfway through the day. And I think that helped. And another thing that I started doing is I would do my vitamins at night. Because before this, I would try to kind of do my vitamins kind of midday, mid-morning, because that's when my kids do their vitamins. And I would try to eat the vitamins. And even though I have chewables, it makes it a little bit easier. They just taste really bad now. And there were literally days when I was in that 8-9 week mark, I would pop it in my mouth and be just like, just eat it, Katie. Just eat it. You need your vitamins. Just eat it. Don't think about it. And I'd put it in my mouth, start to chew, and then I would just start like dry heaving, because the texture, the taste, whatever, I just couldn't do it. So what I started doing is taking my vitamins with me into the room at night, like right before I went to bed, and I would get a small snack, usually like a bowl of cereal, because that's just really easy, some Cheerios, some milk. I would eat a couple bites of the Cheerios and milk, kind of start to feel normal because I like that taste right now, and then I would eat my vitamins. Try not to think about it, just eat it down, and then finish off with a bowl of cereal so it kind of cleansed the taste from my mouth, and then I go to bed. So, because sometimes I've heard is that like vitamins can make you a little nauseous, so doing it right before bed, I would go to sleep and I wouldn't have to worry about it. And that's one way I've been able to take my vitamins so far every day of week 10 and leading up to week 11, and that's something I couldn't do for, I think starting like week 6 or 7, I was starting to be unable to like eat my vitamins and eat any kind of like any chewable, including like a magnesium. I just couldn't do it, and I think that definitely hurt and led to more of the side effects of morning sickness and the nausea and stuff, because, you know, I wasn't getting those vitamins in, but also magnesium for me is very important, because a magnesium is like, we get the brand's called Calm, and they're like chewable gummies, and it really helps me stay regular. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to jump in here and just tell you, I'm gonna start with a little bit of the black on the outer corner, just adding a little in, because I feel like I'm just gonna start gabbing and not doing anything. But anyway, the Calm really helps me stay regular, and with pregnancy, especially at the beginning, and I think mostly like beginning and end is really hard, but really all throughout for me, constipation is like an issue. It's like a really big struggle. And because I wasn't able to take the Calm, I noticed I wasn't going regularly, and I really think that intensified the nausea for me, and was one of the reasons why I was throwing up so much in like the 8 to 9 week, is because I just was all sorts of backed up and stopped up, and my body was not doing well, because I would just like feel like I had to go, but I couldn't go, and just all those feelings would result in me just feeling like 10 times more nauseous in the moment. And definitely those moments when I was like, man, I really am having issues here, I would feel so much more nauseous, and that's usually when I would lose the fight and end up throwing up whatever I had eaten. So being able to take my vitamins at night, being able to take the Calm really helped me get regular again, and that is another thing that I think has really helped the nausea not be as intense now that I am more regular. Sorry if you don't like talking about constipation and stuff like that. It is a fact, at least for me in all my pregnancies. Constipation is like a constant battle, and typically with my previous pregnancies, I've always been terrible at taking my vitamins, terrible at taking the Calm, but this pregnancy, I think I've been the most diligent and the most, so far, taking it the most regularly, and I definitely think it's making a huge difference. Okay, so here's what we have. That smoky color, especially, like this side I don't think looks too bad. This side, that smoky color did not want to mesh with the purple at all. It just kind of, honestly, looks really patchy. A little disappointed. And I used this smoky color actually with the purple in a look, what was it, yesterday. Didn't have any issues, but I wasn't really meshing them together. I put the purple in my crease and then the dark smoky gray black all over my outer corner. But the gray is just not sticking down at all on this side. I don't think it's gonna be an issue, because I'll probably put a wing and that'll cover all of that. But yeah, that didn't work out at all. So something to note with this palette. I'm not really impressed with that gray being able to lay. It's not a good layering, so you couldn't really, if you were someone who wanted to use it to add depth to a look. It worked okay on this side, but definitely not on this side at all. All right, so now I'm gonna go into that dark blue here. I'm just gonna put a little bit here. This is gonna kind of be the segue into the, ooh, this is darker than the purple. Oh no, my idea is falling apart. Oh my gosh. You guys see the fallout? Ooh dear, okay. Let's see, maybe this blue will go over the purple okay. This is evolving as I go. No, I don't think even this blue is wanting to stick down to the purple. These colors don't seem to want to stick down or like mesh with each other. It's like where I place them individually is fine, but if I'm trying to top them, it could be this primer. So I'll definitely have to keep trying it, because like I said, I didn't notice it yesterday, not that I did much mixing. Let me see if this will come off without making too big of a mess. Well, that's okay. Not the best, but okay. I'm gonna just take the purple brush, the brush I used for the purple, kind of blend like this, blend over the blue, see what happens, and I think it just took all the blue off. So should I just cover it with the blue, or should I just tap over the purple and forget about the blue? I think I'm gonna do that, because this blue kind of in the middle here is gonna be covered by the shimmers. So that shouldn't be too big of a problem. Like this side really feels like it's not sticking very well. This is kind of turning a little disastrous, and I wasn't expecting it to. Okay, let's move on to the shimmers. I'm gonna give the mattes some time to sit, because I don't know what to do. I'm gonna put on a little bit of primer, or like a glitter primer for the shimmers, because that's just something I always do for my shimmers. I feel like it makes them go on smoother. I'm gonna let that dry, and then let me look and see, because I've been making a list, because I definitely want to remember for future reference of like things that helped with the morning sickness. So tiny little meals throughout the day definitely helps. I never, like, my kind of thing to keep in mind when I'm eating is like, I never want to feel like I'm getting full, and I always want to feel like I'm a little bit hungry, because I feel like that's the perfect point to be at, and then I'll wait like 30 more minutes and eat something else. So like I said, like a handful of popcorn sometimes, one piece of bar, one tiny bowl of Cheerios, whatever meal we're eating for dinner, I'll just take a tiny little bit and eat like every half hour to an hour, which is annoying. I hate doing it because it just, I don't know, I'm the person to eat like 3 square meals a day and just, you know, push on throughout the day. So having to do all these tiny little tiny little meals throughout the day, I feel like my life just revolves around food right now, and it's annoying. Anyway, the B6 every 6 hours. I'm still taking a Unisum at night, but not during the day, which definitely helps, because in past pregnancies, like I said, I would be so tired because I would take Unisum morning and night. I'd be so tired during the day, like tired to the point where I almost couldn't function. So since I'm not taking it during the day, I feel a lot more awake, which I'm very thankful for with 3 kids to watch. What else? Oh yeah, and starting the day with a protein drink. That's something new I'm doing this pregnancy, is in the morning, instead of like trying to eat crackers or trying to, you know, just eat anything solid, because I feel like it's horrendous to try and throw up solid food on a pretty empty stomach, and I've done it a lot with the past pregnancies. So, and I'm someone who I've tried, I think with Levi, and Olivia, I would try to drink a glass of milk, and that was how I would start the day, but I just don't like milk on an empty stomach. Like, the taste of it isn't appealing. So I tried protein drinks, and it tastes good because I can get different flavors, and it has a little extra protein, a little bit more than a cup of milk, and so that's a great way for me to start my day. So I'll just drink a protein drink, and then about half an hour to an hour after I wake up and I drink it, I'll eat something solid, and I really do think that helps me not spend the morning over the toilet trying to get the day started like I did with Gideon. Okay, so I'm going right into that blue. This blue looks so pretty. But yeah, those are the main things I'm doing that I'm gonna do this side. If you hear laughing. One of my younger sisters is over, and she is having fun playing a board game with Olivia during nap time. Well, the boys are sleeping, so they're having a blast in the other room. But anyway, but yeah, that's how it's been. So now, like I said, I'm approaching the day this goes up. It should be 11 weeks. And so far, like, I am so much more able to function. I still kind of have to retire really early, which kind of keeps me from being able to accomplish much at night. And like, my husband still does most of the putting away at night right now that I used to do, which is still annoying because I'm such a night owl. I hate having to head to bed around 8, 9. And like, currently I really focus and make it a point to be like lights out, nothing on at 9 o'clock, so that I am asleep. Oh my goodness, the fallout for this was a little insane as well. Which I'm not a big fan of, because if you're new around here, I'm someone who, before being pregnant, I would easily stay up till 10, 11 every single night. And I would just enjoy putting the house to sleep at night by myself. I like love to clean up after the kids are asleep and then have an hour or two to myself. I would edit videos, and my husband's more of a early bird, or like he doesn't stay up late. He's not a night owl. He goes to bed early, and so most nights 10, especially by 11, I would be the only one awake. And I don't know, I just really enjoy kind of having some quiet and calm to end my night before I went to bed, and I was able to edit, and everything was just really nice and quiet. I would have like midnight snacks and dessert whatnot by myself, and I just really enjoyed it. So not getting that anymore, definitely really missing it right now, but just trying to remind myself this is temporary. This is temporary, just until the pregnancy's over, and then I'll be up all throughout the night once again with the baby, and I'll be a night owl once again. So this is super pretty, but it's definitely super soft, which I remember from the main stage, but definitely shimmers, definitely a palette I would prefer to do before my face. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much my update when it comes to like my pregnancy. I've just been really sticking really hard at the tiny meals, having my vitamins at night every day, trying not to miss that, Unisum, 3 times a day, drinking lots of water, because it definitely helps like the bad taste in your mouth and stuff like that. And not having to worry about a bad taste in your mouth really helps the nausea kind of stay away as well. I think I'm going to take a touch of this purple and put it there, and I think that's going to help me cover up the disaster that is my outer corner. These shimmers are super pretty. I think I'm just going to have to really spend quite a few looks playing around with the mattes with different primers, and then different ways of putting them on. I really think this palette has to be placed on like darkest to lightest, because that's what I did yesterday. I didn't even think about it, but I started with the gray on the outer corner, and then I did my crease, and then I did my shimmer. So I think trying to do my crease first and then put the dark shades in the outer corner really didn't jive well with this formula. So yeah, I'm not super impressed playing with it in this look, but definitely don't take this as me like totally bashing the palette and not thinking it's worth it. It just might be one of those palettes that you have to play with in a certain order. And also, like I said, it could be this eyeshadow primer. This eyeshadow primer I'm a bit newer to. It's definitely an eyeshadow primer that I've noticed sometimes doesn't play well with shadows, which probably I shouldn't use in future, you know, first time using a palette videos. Sorry about that. I will do that from now on. That purple was nowhere near as messy as the blue, but still super pretty. I really like that purple. That purple is pretty. I'm just tapping over a little bit more blue to purple to mesh these two together until I like it. But yeah, I think that's gonna save the outer corner. I think that'll do it. But yeah, anyway, I don't think I have too much more to say except that I am super, super thankful and super excited to be feeling well enough where like the thought of sitting down during nap time and filming a video like this doesn't fill me with dread. Because like I posted the Nomad Whistler Lodge palette. That was so hard for me to film because that was during the 8 to 9 weeks and I was feeling so bad. So like to have to like sit here and film a look, even though like for 3 of the looks I just sat and filmed, I didn't have to do anything, but afterwards I had to film a voiceover and then I had to do the little intro outro and give my thoughts and review. And during those videos, like during making that week, I felt so bad. So that video was very hard to sit down and film, but I really wanted to because I was excited, very thankful for the brand to send me it early, and I wanted to have it ready early. It still wasn't ready early. I was probably the last one to put my review out, but I tried. I'm going to put on some wing liner real quick. This is from Freck. It's called the Lash Rocket Liner with lash enhancing peptides, it says, but this stuff is legit. So far, the makeup remover I was currently using has a hard time taking it off. Like, it's that legit. Let me put it on real quick. I'm just gonna smoke out the gray and then the orange on my lower lash line. And then what should I put for my inner corner? I'm just gonna tell you guys so this video isn't an hour long. Let's go ahead and put this green. Yeah, that green will be my inner corner, and then we'll come back and I'll show you guys the final results. All right, so here is the finished look. It definitely came together at the end. I really like how it turned out. I definitely think pulling the purple shimmer all the way over helped hide all of the mistakes of the outer corner. The outer corner was a little disastrous, but I honestly don't think, like, looking at it, if you didn't watch the video and saw that, you probably wouldn't have known. I can tell you that on the lower lash line, when I put the, sorry, I'm just blending a little bit more right here to make it nice and soft. But when I put the dark gray black shade down first and then put the orange on top, they don't really mesh, but they also just go on like on top of each other a lot better. And the gray and black, whatever shade actually stuck. This one right here, which is called After Party, it stuck really well and it didn't move when I put the orange on top. So again, it's going to be something I have to play around with and really focus on making sure I'm laying down the darkest shade first, working to the lightest shade to see if that kind of solves that issue, because wasn't super impressed with the mattes in this palette so far. I mean, even the shades that I did use, and I feel like they look really nice, the orange and the green, they're still a little bit like of a little bit thin. I don't know, I need to play around with it more. And something I noticed now that I've played with it with 2 looks and have it in my hand is that there's a lot of shimmers in here and not a ton of mattes. And I would have liked a little bit more mattes just so that I feel like I could play around with it more when it came to the shimmers, because the shimmers are absolutely stunning. I'll put this on my inner corner. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I actually use this shade, which is Blur. Definitely a chunky shadow. I don't know if I'm going to like it on my like lid, but I am going to try it for an inner corner highlight. But I used it as a face highlight. Okay, camera died. But anyway, I used that lightest shade as a face highlight. I think you can see it. It definitely isn't super obvious. Maybe a little on camera. I don't know. It definitely gives almost just like a glitter effect to my cheeks instead of like a blinding type of highlight. So I don't think I'd try it on my face again, but I was just very curious to see if that would work. But yeah, overall, super pleased with the shimmers. Even the ones with a lot of fallout, I'm like, okay, I can, you know, I typically, if I'm not recording, I do my eyes first and then my face. But the blue was absolutely beautiful. This shade, oh my goodness, it was so easy to put on the lid. It's a shade I definitely want to use all over my lid. Or it was so easy to put on my inner corner. Definitely a shade I want to use all over my lid. The purple was I think you guys can hear him. But the purple was absolutely beautiful, and I used this red shade yesterday when I did my look. Very pretty, and it turned out to be a lot more like red, almost like bordering on like a hot pink type of red. I thought it was very pretty. So all the shades that I've tried when it comes to shimmers so far, I've been very happy with. I can't wait to try this one out, and as well this one down here, this dark green, super pretty. So this is a palette so far, using it twice, I'm a lot more excited to play around with the shimmers, more so than the mattes, but I'm gonna keep trying. Next time I do it, like I said, I'm gonna work dark to light, and I think I'm gonna use more of these type of packer brushes, and I'm gonna focus more on packing than the type of big fluffy blending brushes, and I wanna see if I can get more intensity in the color and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to try going forward, and of course I will have a full review in my next palette palooza. I'll make sure I feature this palette, so if you want to stay tuned and see what I think about it, hopefully that'll be coming out probably within the next month. I think I'm starting to accumulate enough completed palettes that I should be able to do a palette palooza, and I'm starting to feel better enough that I think I can do it maybe by the end of February. We shall see. But yeah, overall, like if it's on sale and if you're looking at just for the shimmers, I think it's worth it. I can tell you that much, but that's really all I can tell you. I don't know about the mattes and whatnot, and as a whole, I'll have to tell you my final results when I do my palette palooza. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I just want to sit down and play with this palette and be able to talk to you guys a little bit about how I'm feeling recently, because I have been feeling better. Super thankful. Like I said, a little scared that I'm gonna jinx it talking about it, but figured I could sit down and chat with you guys what is helping me in a video, and that way, like I said, if it helps any of you out there who might be going through morning sickness and maybe hear some of these tips and try it yourself, I hope it helps you. I hope it works for you, because morning sickness is rough, and if you're going through it, my heart goes out to you. It's a bit of a rough journey. At least me and my experience, it's always been a rough journey. But so far, like I said, doing these tips, I'm 11 weeks pregnant, and I feel the best I have ever felt at 11 weeks pregnant with, you know, my 3 children that I've had with their pregnancies. Thinking back, I know I wasn't doing this good at 11 weeks. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, I'm over on Instagram, LadyKatie92. I post up close eye pictures, reels, all that sort of fun things. I have so much fun with reels. But yeah, I'm over there if you want to follow me. And with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.